I wanted to do this video outside today, and I know this image is very different than what you normally see or the way that you normally see me doing videos. I'm very poised, have my makeup on, put together with a nice little, business-like background. But I wanted to do this video outside because I feel like it goes perfectly with what this video is about. This video is a reminder and an activation for you to enjoy your life. I want to remind you that you have an inherent right to enjoy your life. Now, on this channel, you hear me talk about religious programming and programming in general, and how because of that programming, it affects how we have shown up and operated in our lives. It has taken over our identity. Okay, once we leave religion and we leave programming, we become detached. We begin to see our sovereign identity coming forward like a rising phoenix from the ashes. Okay? And part of you embracing your sovereign identity is remembering that you deserve joy in every single part of your life. Now, when I talk about joy, this is beyond those fleeting moments of happiness or excitement. I'm talking about a joy that becomes your state of being. I'm talking about the joy that becomes your identity. Programming, specifically religious programming, causes you to believe by giving you stories and images of one that has to suffer. Religion gives you images and stories that causes you to believe and to live in a way where you feel like you don't deserve joy, where suffering equates to being alive, where suffering equates to taking a breath, where suffering equates to being human. And that is a false story that puts you to sleep, that had put you to sleep while you were connected to religion. But because you have stepped away from that, you know that is not the case. And as you embrace your identity, your sovereign identity, as you live your life beyond religious constructs, as you live your life in an elevated consciousness, with an elevated consciousness, it is important to know, to embrace, that you deserve, that you have an inherent right to enjoy, to be in joy, to live in joy, to wake up in joy in every single part of your life. So let me go back to the images that religion feeds millions of people. So the image of a person hanging, suffering, being tortured on, some say it's a cross, some say it's a tree, it really doesn't matter. But you see this image, you're given this image of an individual who's bleeding to death, who has obviously been tortured. You're given that image constantly. That's constantly what you see. And then you're told you have to suffer for Christ's sake. Okay? And then that travels into our conversations, that travels into society, where we hear phrases like, well, it's always something. Or, everything's going right. There must be something wrong. All of those phrases that we hear that actually become staples in our conversation. And so we continue, even though we have left religion. And for some people have never even gone to church, but they still adopt that identity of someone where it is a requirement when you're alive. It is a requirement for you to suffer. And I want to tell you that that is false. I want to tell you that as a spiritual being that you are, I want to tell you that as a cosmic being that you are, you came here to have joy. Not joy at certain times of the day, not joy on certain days, just on Saturday and Sunday, or just Friday afternoon and then Saturday and maybe half of Sunday. No, I am talking about joy that surpasses anything that is in front of you. Joy in your money, joy in your career, whatever that looks like to you, joy in how you choose to spend your days, joy in who you choose to spend your time with, joy in where you choose to go. Every single day of your life, every single day of your life, you deserve to wake up and be in joy. What about this? Every single day of your life, how about this? In every single day of your life, think about the last time, I'll say this, think about the last time you went on vacation and the excitement that you felt. Do you not know that you deserve to experience not only that, but on a deeper level, the joy at the root of that? You deserve to experience that every single day. Every day. Now, you may be saying that that is unrealistic. That's because we're programmed to believe that that is unrealistic. We're programmed to believe that something always has to be wrong. Religious programming will have you self-sabotage things in your life that are going right, because you have been programmed to believe that there has to be some type of drama taking place at all times. And I'm saying that because I know people like that. They don't even realize what they're doing. They don't even realize that they're living from an identity of someone who believes that they have to go through life with something always being wrong. That is not the case. That is not realistic for you as a sovereign being. Now, when I talk about experiencing joy every single day of your life and every single day being a vacation, you have the power. Now you may be saying, well, how do I create that? The solutions to do that are encoded in your DNA that is ancient. All you have to do is open up your mouth to the vision. When you get a vision that comes into your imagination, not something that you have to force, not something that you have to squeeze into your mind, but the images that just come up with flow and ease, the images that induce expansiveness within you, that induce joy, that induce you saying, oh gosh, wouldn't that be amazing to experience that? Those are the images that I'm talking about. So how do you create the joy every day when the next time you get an imagination, a vision that expands you in that way where you feel vibrant and alive? I want you to speak that vision out loud exactly the way that you saw it. Don't water it down. The how, do not worry about the how. Because remember, you have the solution. As a matter of fact, you are the solution. Your joy is the solution. So, this is a reminder. You have, it is an inherent right for you to be in joy every single day of your life. Period. This is not and you may be surrounded by people who accept drama, who accept trouble, who accept suffering. Guess what? That is not your business to transform them. The best thing that you can do for them is you step into your I am sovereign cosmic power and begin to create and begin to acknowledge that you have the solutions on the inside of you to experience the joy, whatever, when I say joy, you experiencing joy, this is not someone telling you what feeling joy should mean or look like. This is about you tapping into yourself and saying, okay, what would happen? What would my life look like for me to live every single day in complete joy? What would that look like for me? It's up to you to make that, to define that, to design that. And part of that comes from the images that come to you throughout the day that are expansive. I said, let's go back to what I said earlier about those images that come to you that are not forced. They just pop into your consciousness. And because we haven't fully embraced our sovereign self, oftentimes we will dismiss those images as being unrealistic, or we'll put them on the shelf because we can't see how those images are going to come to pass. But I want to remind you that regardless of the how, you get to, it's not something that you have to go out and figure out how to try to do, but you get to have joy every single moment of your life. You get to have joy when you wake up in the morning. Perhaps your joy, speaking of waking up in the morning, perhaps your joy includes you waking up whenever you want to without an alarm clock, without you having to be somewhere unless it's somewhere that you choose to be. Maybe your joy looks like that. This also goes back when we talk about joy, is you doing what you desire. So let's go back as we end this. Let's go back to what I said at the top of this video. This is a different type of video other than what you see me, sitting at a desk in front of my laptop, decent background, lighting is right, there's no outside noise. But instead today I had a desire to make a video outside with this blue sky, with the birds chirping behind me, with these trees, with the sun. That's what I chose to do, because that is how you live in joy. By knowing that as a sovereign being, you get to have what you desire. And I know doing a video outside, it's a small example, but it's a perfect illustration of this entire video. So remember this, you get to have joy in every single part of your life. You get to experience life as you desire it. Period. All right? For one-on-one help with me, go to unleashedalchemy.com. I have a coaching package that I offer. I have ebooks that are available for you to support you on your sovereign journey. I also have courses that support you on this very thing that we talked about in this video. Let me know what your takeaways are in the comments. And until next time, be in joy, live in joy, and be sovereign.